Hey guys, it's Dave and welcome back to the Weird Kid Show. It's awesome to have you here today. So I'm excited about today's build. It was something that came to me and I did some prepping for it last night. For the time being, yeah, I'm sticking with this monster bottle theme. Now this isn't going to become the monster bottle show, but I've been having fun with these and I've been knocking them out here left and right, and there's been a lot of positive response from viewers. So I've been just exhausting it, I guess you will. I'm running with it, and when I get bored of it, or you get bored of it, then we'll move on to something else. But just to show you kind of what I've been up to here, there's the one I just got done creating. Got him all sculpted up. And what I'm doing, yeah, and this is the monster bottles, which I explained to you. You can get these little glass bottles at Dollar Tree or a lot of dollar stores. They come in a pack of 3. And then I just cover the whole thing with clay, Sculpey Polymer clay. And then I bake it. And then I come back and I sculpt the actual faces on it. And then I do the same thing with the cap. Well, the cap pretty much is all sculpted in just one piece. Alright, so this one here, which this is going to somebody, one of my Patreon supporters. Thank you. So yeah, the cap was all sculpted all in one piece. I take all baby oil, or you can use clay softener to remove fingerprints and smooth things out. And then I do a final bake. Paint it, put a matte finish clear coat on it to protect the paint, and then I put felt on the bottom, and there you go. That's a finished little monster bottle. This guy here has got like some little mushrooms growing out of the top of his head, and it's cool. I'm gonna mention, you know, there's been some people that have been doing this. You know, since I started doing this, it's been really flattering because I've had a lot of people that had started doing these themselves, and some super talented people out there, some really good stuff. Here's another one that I did, but it's not painted yet. Alright, and this is kind of I added some see some details there on his head. You know, this is I gotta paint him up yet, but this is where it comes, you know, and then this one here functions as well. Okay, so you can get as elaborate or as simple as you want. This one here, the difference is I made the eyes up here, and then the mouth, big gaping mouth with some sharp teeth, which these are made out of Sculpey Primo polymer clay, translucent. So they almost got a teeth look to them to begin with. Yeah, so there's that one, and one more. I'm going to show you one more. This one here is kind of like one of my earlier ones that I did. Just a little, like, I don't know, I like to call it like a little Hershey kiss on the top, you know. It could be like a little mushroom cap or something like that, but there you have it, guys. So the sky's the limit. I mean, you can't go wrong. I buy a big roll of this. If you go to Walmart, the craft section, or wherever they sell this stuff, they usually sell squares of it, and it adds up. You can pay a lot of money buying a bunch of pieces, but this here was at the dollar store, and look how much you get. And it was only $1. This is gonna last me a long time, and I managed to pick up some purple and black, and so that's something good too. I ended up picking up a couple of these bottles, and I'm trying to remember where I got them. I might have got them at a thrift store, or actually, you know what? I ended up getting these at Hobby Lobby. That's where I got these. You go to Hobby Lobby, they have a whole aisle full of glass bottles, different shapes and sizes. Okay, so I get a bottle like this. Then what I do is I just completely cover it with Sculpey. Okay, and you smooth it out as much as you want, or leave a rough. I like a raw surface. Then I go in with the baby oil and remove the fingerprints, and I think that did a pretty good job on this because I don't see any fingerprints whatsoever. Alright, so, and then I bake it in the oven, 275 for about 20 minutes, 20-25 minutes. Now I have a hard surface to work on, okay? And we got the cork for that. I'm going to sculpt something separate for that. Alright, you can do things like this. This is one of the bottles that I just put the base coat on. This is the Sculpey. This has been put in the oven, it's cured. And so now that is ready to be sculpted on. Okay? But then I did something like this. Okay, this is a double whammy. I just took 2 bottles and then I put some clay around it and then put some clay in between it and joined them. And you can see how it is there, which you won't see that because that'll be covered with felt at the end. Now this isn't today's build, but if you want, I can do a video with this. I was thinking along the lines of Good and Evil, or the Matrix, the blue pill, the red pill, you know. Maybe there's an evil in this one, maybe there's good in this. You take these potions or something, if you take one you become evil, or you can handle hard, you know, you can go into battle and be ferocious, or over here you can be kind. But what if you take them both, then you're leveled out. Who knows? I don't know, but that's an idea. If you guys get any other ideas of what we can turn this into, I'm all ears. If you want me to do a video on it, then I can do that. But we're not messing with this today. We're not messing with these other guys over here. We're going to play with this today. Because what I want to do is a voodoo bottle. That's right, a voodoo bottle. And I got a great idea for this. And I hope it translates. I'm excited to do this. So anyways, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to sculpt a voodoo doll on the front of this. Okay? So that's step 1. Alright? And we're going to go a step further with that because it's actually going to have like pins sticking out from it. Okay? And then we're going to figure out what we're going to do with the rest of this thing. So, a voodoo bottle. That's right. That's what we're doing today, guys. So I really appreciate you guys for being here. Let's get into this thing. Alright, so a voodoo bottle. Don't know exactly what a voodoo bottle does. Maybe when you drink it, it can remove a curse, or maybe it enables you to give curses or something. I don't know. Here again, I need your help with these guys. I think of these concepts and everything, but don't always know what the punchline is, for lack of a better term, you know. Anyways, I've got some Sculpey. I just picked me up a bunch of, every time I go to Walmart, I go right to the craft section and I check, and it seems like if they have any, it's going to be 1, maybe 2 1-pound blocks of, I just use the regular Sculpey. Okay, this is pretty cheap. It's almost $6. It's $5 and something cents, and it won't break the bank. And so I'll tend to grab, if they had 2 blocks, I'd probably grab both of them, or grab one, and then I kind of just slowly start to stockpile it. A lot of these people, including Keith from Cobwebs and Candlesticks, like to use the Super Sculpey, which is the, it's a flesh-colored looking Sculpey, and it's a lot more firm. I guess you can get more cut-in details, but I've always used this. It works for me, and it's cheap. And that's the thing, a lot of the builds that I show you is on economic, you know, it's something you can afford to do, and it won't break the bank. Alright, so, but the first thing that I do when I get this clay is I knead it in my hands, okay? Now it's starting to become real pliable. When you first get it out of the package, it's going to be stiff and rigid, so you work it, the warmth of your hands will make it more pliable. Alright, and so the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to roll out a piece here, Alright. Kind of give it a little pear shape. And I think I want to, because of scaling, first I want to look at my bottle and decide where the best place, where placement should be. Now I'm looking at this thing and I have like an indentation here where I didn't fully, it's a different thickness than over here in the back. So I'm going to take advantage of that little recess. And I'm just going to pop him on there, push him down a little bit, not too much because I don't want to pancake it on there. I just want it to adhere enough. If you want, you can use, Sculpey has a product called Bacon Bond, not bacon as in breakfast bacon, but baking bond, okay? And it acts as like a glue for polymer clays that you're able to use to adhere the polymers together so that it doesn't pop apart. But I'm going to cut this thing in, and what I mean cut this thing in, I have another tool for this, but I'm not sure where it is. There it is. This is a tool. This is one tool you can use. This seems to be my favorite tool. I don't know. I like this tool. I use it a lot. And then of course there's like a sharp edge here for cutting straight edges. It's crooked because the kids like to get a little rough and pry on things and everything. I'm going to try this one, and basically I'm just going to get down around to the bottom and go down there and pinch and just pull. Just to start to attach it and tying it in to the bottle. Okay. If you get in there with your fingers are going to be too big and it's going to squash, because we don't want to lose this shape. Alright, so I'm just going to pinch it down. We can go ahead and smooth it out a little bit with our finger. We can get in there a little bit without doing any kind of damage. Alright, so just want to get it down there, around the bottom. So now I can take my finger and tuck it under the lip a little bit. Just kind of go around like that. See, now it's already starting to blend it in a little bit. Alright, it's not as crude. You're gonna have like tool marks up in there. You see that? This is stuff that, in fact, I'll do it right now to show you. Baby oil. You can also use alcohol. Somebody else pointed out you can use alcohol, rubbing alcohol, which I have some of that as well. And on Sculpey too, they sell a product called it's clay softener. Now the Sculpey version is, you're gonna pay a lot more because it's a brand name. Okay, I find that baby oil, and I imagine alcohol too, will get the same exact results, because I'm rubbing it on there right now. All right, and it's already starting to take out them tool marks. It's smoothing it out. It's blending it and making it softer. Alright, so I still got this undercut here, and I don't really want that too much, so I'm going to push down a little bit, kind of hide that if I can a little bit more. Try to bring it right almost down to the bottom. Okay, so we got a little bit of a seam there, but not much. It's going to clean up nice when we get this clay softener in there. Basically, I just want to, this is our roughing, if you will. I want to have a look at it, make sure it's not too darn crooked. Alright, now it looks off because I pushed down that edge there, so I'm going to do the same on this other side. Alright, so I'm going to push down on that. Give me the shape. I don't want to go too crazy on here because this is where we're going to put the head, because we're doing a voodoo doll, remember. Alright. Let's go down there. Pinch, pinch, pinch. Alright, I'm happy with the shape. Fix that a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and clean this up and get it all softened. Alright, so you can work on that as much as you want before you move on. But I'm good with this so far. I know that when I put on the arms and legs and the head, at the end I can go through a final tweaking, move things around a little bit, smooth them out, and add or subtract detail, refine it at the end. Okay, so that's the body. And now I want a couple of stubby legs, if you will. So I'm just going to roll out a ball. I want to get the same size clay. Need a little bit more. So that's why it's good to, what I like to do typically is I'll roll a ball of clay. Okay? And then I'll do another ball of clay. And then I'll compare them. Alright, they're the same size. This one's got a tad bit more. It's not going to make that much of a difference. But for the purpose of making something symmetric, I'm just showing you how you can get the same size. So you don't, in other words, you don't have one leg that's like huge and one leg that's small. You've got consistency on both sides. So that's about right. Okay, so now I can take that and then I can roll it kind of into a tube shape or a little snake, you know, like this. A little cigar, it's a little stubby cigar. All right, and I'm not worried too much about the shape. I'm not sure how long the legs are going to be. So then I'm just going to go ahead and stick it on there on the side like this, and pinch and pull, start blending this thing in. Okay, I'm going to start getting a little bit down there. I'm using my finger. I know I said I wasn't going to do that. So for now I'm just going to go ahead and tack it. So that's considered to be tacked, because I don't want to like get it in its final fixed position if I find it's too thick, too thin, too long, too short. Okay, right now it's roughing it out. We're going to get to the fine details at the end. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and do that. Same thing with this one. Roll it out, get a little cigar shape, and then push it on there. Let's go. I think you know what, and this is a good thing to find out. I think maybe I want to cut that body down a little bit. I don't think I want it as long, so I'm going to go over here and we're just going to go ahead and shave that much out. And the reason being is because I think I want to put something up underneath here. I'll show you. I already got this planned out, guys. So let's see if it's going to translate though. But you'll have to wait for that. That's going to be coming towards the end later on. Alright, so now I need to rework this a bit. Pinch it over, bevel it. I'm not going to worry too much about this, the way it looks there, because I'm going to attach them legs in there. Alright, so I think we're going to be good now as far as my legs. In fact, my legs, I can probably cut them down a little bit. Put that one on there. Alright, I can already tell I'm going to be able to work with that. So I'm going to go ahead and start pinching and pulling and blending. Blend that side into the torso. Start pinching a little bit there down at the bottom because we want to attach that to the actual. But I'm going ahead of myself on this here because the legs are only too long. So I'm going to need to cut them down too. I don't want anything too long, so I'm going to go to about here. I like the looks of a voodoo doll. And then there's something else I would love to be able to tackle one day. Is you guys seen it? It's 9. I think that's the name of it. The movie 9. That's right, isn't it? With the it's like a post, like Tim Burton. I think he didn't direct it, but I think he was an executive producer or something on that project. But it's the little dolls that are, they got zippers on them and stuff, and Nine's like one of the lead characters, and they got all this cool steampunk looking weapons and apparatuses and stuff like that, and it's just really cool, really well done, and I just love the character design. But like I've told you before, I've always been a big Tim Burton fan with the designs and stuff, Nightmare Before Christmas and all those films. I just absolutely love the characters and the design. They're awesome. The colors, and it's inspirational, very inspirational. I'd love to be able to recreate some of those characters someday. Maybe we'll put them on a bottle, who knows. All right. So I'm not going to bevel the edges here. Okay, I'm going to keep them flat, and I'll show you why when we get there. Alright, so I might want to fill in a little bit here. We're not going to be looking for a precise anatomically correct, it's a voodoo doll, and basically the cliche traditional voodoo doll that you see and immediately recognize when you see it they look like they're made out of like burlap, sewn burlap. Maybe they've got button sewn for the eyes, or maybe they've got some cross stitching for the eyes. But yeah, traditionally they tend to be a burlappy looking material. Alright, so then we got our other arm. And I think I'm going to shave it just a hair. Alright, I think that's going to do it. I'm liking that. I'm going to run with it. Now he's starting to he's kind of getting like he's like a little teddy bear. So that's something else you could do too. You could follow this recipe if you wanted to get cutesy and sculpt a teddy bear on this thing. This is one way of doing it. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and just blast out these edges, get it. Alright. Alright, so before I get, I don't want to sit here and bore you to death. I'm just showing you getting through the process. I'm going to skip that arm for now, because you saw me do this other arm. I'm going to go ahead and attach the head. Then I'm going to let you guys maybe give you some time to work on yours, if you want to do this with me. And then I'm going to come back while it's all finalized and then ready for the details, the fine details. Which I'm going to do that with you guys. I'm not going to leave you hanging. So I got to see what size head. That's a big piece, so I'm going to cut that lengthwise. Let's see what we can do with that. Nothing spectacular. Alright. Might be too big. Yeah, it's a bit too big. I got to be able to fit something above that too. Cut some of this down. Alright. Alright, so I'm gonna go with like a small head. Just enough to get some detail on it. Alright, so I think that's gonna work. Alright, that's what we got. And now basically all I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna blend that head. Don't need to be aware. You're gonna have the contours of a head, so it's like you don't really necessarily need a neck unless you want to put a neck in there. But it's a voodoo doll. You know, it's made of burlap. It's not meant to be like super anatomically correct. All right, so there we have it. I'm gonna go ahead and I'll put the other arm on, and then I'm gonna go ahead and just make sure this is all tied in, and I'm gonna go ahead and smooth everything out with my baby oil, and then I'm gonna come back with this thing clean and ready to go, and we're gonna go in and I'm gonna show you how to do some fine details, and then we're gonna move on to the pins, because yeah, he's gonna have pins sticking out of him. So anyways, guys, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you hanging with me. We'll see you here in a second. Alright guys, and we're back. And yeah, so basically all I did was, once I got that other arm on there, is make sure it was all cut in, and a little spot there I could tweak. But basically all I'm doing at this point in time is blending and shaping, getting it in the position that I'm happy with. Okay, and I'm happy with that. It's crude, but it'll work. So I'm gonna try something here. So check this out. So I've got an actual piece of tight weave burlap. I'm gonna see if I can texture this thing with that. Alright, so I don't think I need to completely texture the whole thing with it. As long as you have little spots here and there, as subtle as it is, it still gets the message across. So I'm just laying it on there, and I'm just rubbing at it a little bit there. Actually, that's not too bad. It's not really loud, it's not profound, but it's just enough. Oh yeah, I can deal with that. I like that. I'm gonna rub it on the face, the sides. Yep, that's gonna work. I like that. I think you can use like a handkerchief too. I don't think you necessarily have to use a piece of burlap. You can use some kind of a linen cloth or something like that. Whatever you want to do. That's the thing. You can do whatever you want. You could crumple up some tin foil if you want to crumple up some tin foil and dab at it, see what kind of texture you get out of it. So I think I'm good with that. I'm going to try to push it a little bit over here. Okay, so I like that. See, now it's got a little texture to it, that little burlap texture. So what I'm going to do now is clean the end of my tool. Okay, now I'm going to get in here. I'm going to draw a little subtle line here around the neck. Okay, and then I'm going to go in and do some stitches. Actually, I have another tool that I'm going to do that with. Okay, yeah, so I didn't like the tool I was using. So now I've got this like dental pick. Does that bring in a bad flashback of that cavity you had? Alright, so I'm just taking the tip and I'm doing little cross hatches across it. It's giving me like to show for stitches. Now there's you don't have to do it this way if you don't want to. You can make raised stitches if you wanted like more details, but that's definitely going to be labor intensive. Okay, or you can do this cross hatch method. And go here, just make some stitches. Go here, make some stitches. I'm gonna want to do that. Now the reason why I left this flat here and here is because I want to draw around that, and then have stitches there too. It's almost like really is a teddy bear. Just gives it an added detail. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and then I'll add all the stitches, and then what we're gonna do for the eyes is I'm gonna make real small snakes of clay, really fine, okay, and then I'm gonna just lay what I want on the face, and then I'm going to cut the excess. This isn't something I'm going to do with you on camera because it's it's tedious. But you can lay it on there with with your sculpting tool. Just lay it on there and gently press it on. You can have big stitches, little stitches. You could put buttons if you want to. It'd be pretty easy to sculpt up some buttons. It's going to be whatever you want. So I'm going to work on this thing. We're going to come back and we're going to see what we're going to move on to next. So here he is, guys. The voodoo doll itself is done. Alright, so you guys saw me put that burlap on there to get that texture. Alright, and then what I did was I went down the sides with my sculpting tool and cut down the sides and then made stitches. So you can see where it's in like two pieces. I did that on like around all the joints and stuff, the arms, and I even did it like underneath. Okay, and then I rolled out and made really tiny snakes of clay, and I cut one out and delicately lay it down and pushed it in for the stitches of the eyes. Like I said, you could go with a button if you want, or two buttons. One big button, one small button. One stitched eye, one button. Whatever you want to do. I debated on a button, but no, I want this to be as primitive as I can be. So now the next step, and this is super easy, is the pins. Okay, at the craft store, that same place you can get them bottles that I'm telling you about, they sell craft wire, and it's it's a pretty thick wire, but it's really pliable. You can bend it and manipulate it. This was in a nice spool. My daughter managed to get her hands on it and was yanking it to and fro and bending it and everything else, and she was having a ball until I took it away from her because I didn't want to poke her eye out, but she was having a blast. So anyways, this whole thing is it's all bent up, so I got to go through and find and create some straight pieces like I did here. Alright, so this is one piece. I can still mess with it and straighten it out. Alright, so I cut the length I wanted, and then simple enough, you're just going to take a little piece of clay and roll it into a ball, and I'm just going to stick it on there. Try to bring it back to its round state. And then I'm going to put the baby oil on it and smooth it out and work it, make it as cylindrical as I can. Not cylindrical, but round. And so there you have it. There's going to be a push pin. I'm going to mess with this and straighten it out. I might even shorten. You can decide how long you want it. What I think I'm going to do once I painted this, I'm going to go ahead and paint a red heart on it, and these things are going to be sticking out of the, punctured into the heart. So we'll have that bit of red for contrast, and I think I might even paint the ends of these red or black. We'll see as we're getting this thing. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna make these. I'm gonna stick them in to position I want. I'm gonna bake this. I'm gonna come back out. All the pins are gonna be in, and we're gonna move on to the next step. So hang tight, guys. All right, guys, and we're back, and that's what we got. All right, I did do 3 pins. Stuck it in, but I wasn't, you know, I thought it would have been too much. Sometimes less is more. So I just did 2 pins sticking out of the voodoo doll. So we are done. We are done with our little voodoo doll. Okay. So now I'm going to move on to the actual lettering. And what I've got is some letters that I had already made out of Sculpey. Did that last night in preparation for today's video. Okay, just flat pancake some Sculpey, and take something round to measure out your O's and just cut out the lines, and there's our little V. Okay, so I had debated, yeah, am I gonna go voodoo this way? But I thought, you know, no, because this is the focal point here, so I thought I'd do is put VOO up here and do down here. Now, what I'm gonna have to play with is the fact that I've got a bevel here, and that letter won't sit flat. Okay, so I'm gonna have to build some clay up behind here, build this up a bit before I attach these letters. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna put some clay in here and fill it in, and then I'm gonna put my letters on there. Okay, and then put the bottom letter, so it's going to read VOODOO. All right, then we're going to come back and figure out what else we're going to do with it. So check back here in a sec, guys. Thanks. All right, guys, and it's done. Okay, even the top. Basically, all I did was the cork is I pushed it in the clay to get the form. I'm not going to bake it with the cork in there. And then just did like a twisty. I like that shape. It's something I do pretty consistently. It's because I really like it. You can do whatever you want though. And then as far as the lettering's concerned, is I had to build it up on the back because of the flange, but I like how it's kind of like a little wooden placard or something, and push the letters in so that the bottom part's touching the flat surface, and then the filling in the back is to fill in that flange so that those letters are sitting level on the bottom. So there you got it, VOODOO. Okay, and then he's got those little pins in his chest. All right, so that's what we're looking at. All right, it's really the magic's gonna happen when we paint this thing though. That's when it's really going to come alive. So I need to pop this in the oven, let it cure, let it cool down a bit, and then we're going to come back, we're going to finish this thing, we're going to paint it, and then we're going to talk about how to protect it and finalize it. So if you've come this far, hang tight, guys, because now we're going to be getting into the painting and really bringing this thing to life. So alright, guys, we're back. This thing's out of the oven, and it's still warm but not hot. I can handle it now. And I went ahead and I glued that cork into the top. All right, so that's gonna be painted with this thing. All right, so paint. I'm gonna go with acrylic. That's my main go-to. And the first thing that I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna give this whole thing a base coat of burnt umber. That's right, burnt umber. That's a color I love to use. It's a perfect earthy base color for a tremendous amount of things, be it an organic, something wood. It can be used as a base for when you start a rusting project. It's something I use a lot of, and it's going to really help when I do the dry brush on this here after, and you'll see what I'm talking about here. So I'm going to put quite a bit because it's going to completely coat the whole thing. And I'm trying out, not much luck. If you go to the dollar store where I get the little bottles, and the wire and everything like that, you might find they have paint brushes. And they come in like a pack of 5 or something like that, and this is one of them. I'll tell you what, this is in my second pack that I opened. The first one, I got this out of the deal. Alright, the first thing it started to do when I was painting was it started to leave a tremendous amount of hairs on my projects. And so I was pulling at the hairs because I didn't want, you know, I was trying to do some finer stuff. I didn't want a little string of paint where it didn't need to be. And so I give it a little pull and it ended up just pulling the whole thing right off the top. So you get what you pay for as far as brush is concerned. I do have some nice brushes. I use brushes like this when I have to cover a large area with a lot of paint, and this is a large area and it's requiring a lot of paint. So when I get into the finer details, I'll get some of my nicer brushes. But brushes, good brushes is something you just don't want to skimp on. There's a lot of things you can make do with at the dollar store and everything like that, but paints and brushes is one thing you really don't want to cut too many corners with, because that's basically what brings your creation to life at the end of the day. So anyways, I'm going ahead, I'm just painting this whole thing burnt umber. We're going to come back and I'm going to tell you what other colors we're going to start getting into here. So hang tight. Alright guys, we're back, and quite simply I just I based the whole thing out in that burnt umber. Alright, so I'm going to do a number of things here. I'm going to dry brush the bottle, but I wanted to give our little voodoo doll his own, make his color stand out a little bit more. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to dry brush him, this Apple Barrel product, and this is Chestnut. Alright, so just like in all the other, in all my other tutorials, I talk about dry brushing. Just like take a paper towel, toilet paper, whatever, get you some of the paint you want to use, and wipe it off. And then you're just going to want to lightly dust whatever it is that you're painting. So I'm just going over this lightly. Not too much. We still want that burnt umber in there for the shadows. So we're going to use this. This is a secondary base, because we're going to dry brush on top of that as well after we dry brush the bottle itself. Alright, so that's what we got. I mean, it's wet right now, so it's shiny, but when it dries it's going to be flat. Alright, so we got our secondary color. I'll rinse that brush. And then for the bottle itself, I've got this is Territorial Beige. It's another color I like to work with. You can step this up or down, you know, by adding a little bit of black to it to make it a darker shade, or you can add white to it and make it lighter. But so I'm going to just dry brush the entire bottle. Start with them letters. Get all up here. So we're going to start to, it's going to start to come alive here. So let's start giving it some substance instead of just being this uniform sculpture. Well, like I said before, if you get too much in one area, you can drag it and pull it and work it into the rest of the sculpt. starting to look like there. I wanted an earthy color, you know, because I think about, you know, a voodoo high priestess, or, you know, somebody who practices voodoo. They got a lot of primitive stuff around, and raw materials like chicken's feet and bones and all kinds of stuff. So I wanted to make this earthy. Sometimes when I'm holding a bottle or something, and then I'll put pressure on it and move my thumb or something, it can, because it's not sealed, it can pull some of the paint off a little bit, especially when you got, you know, if you got a lot of oils in your skins or whatever the case may be. I like how that's looking. We're not done yet. We're gonna keep working on this thing. See what other stuff we're gonna add to it. Alright, I think that's good. I do want to take a little bit of that same and just do a little bit on the voodoo doll. And that really, to me, really finishes it off and makes it pop. I like that now. And I can even go just a tad shade lighter, and so I'm going to add just a smidgen of white into that tan, that territorial beige. Alright, just to get a lighter. And I'm going to go in here and very lightly in just little areas, it's too much, it's just barely. Because what that's going to do is going to make the raised areas pop a little bit more, but it's also going to help to bring out that texturing I put in it with the burlap. And I don't know if you can see it or not, but now it's got like kind of an aged look. You know, it looks all weathered and stuff like this is, you know, it's very old bottle. So I'm going to go here, I'm going to go back up here to the letters, and I think I'm going to go ahead and try to do a lighter shade on just the letters, just to make them stand out. Alright, not much, just a light dusting. Alright. And that's what we're starting to look like there. Okay. I can go up here on the just little spots here and there, which should be considered, you know, could be patina to the bottle. Just want to go randomly in spots, little washes. Maybe you're gonna do one little one around the, just little hints of B, just to break it up, give it some more age. Alright, so we could leave it like that if you wanted to. We could add colors to the letters if you want to add colors to the letters. We could paint the letters black. We could paint them all white. You could paint them red. You could paint them whatever color you want to. In fact, I'm not set yet on that. So I'm going to move on to the other portion. So what I got to do now is this brush here. The stitches on the eyes. I can go with. I've got a. This is pavement, but it's another. Just a fancy word for black. It's almost like a charcoal, if you will. Alright, so I'm going to go in here and I'm going to very delicately paint the stitches on the eyes. Alright. Some of those stitches are there. And I think I'm going to paint the heads of the pins black. And then what I'll do is I'll come in with, I don't have silver, I've got sterling silver, which is a duller, almost a duller, different properties than just normal acrylic silver. I've got to get some silver, but this will work. Alright, so it's painting me. Pinhead's black. Alright, I'm going to continue with that. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to paint the pins. That sterling silver, and then I'm going to paint that heart on its chest red. Okay, and for that I've got this is a candy apple red. We're going to make a nice bright heart on its chest where the pins are. Maybe I might add some colors to those letters. Let me see. I want to kind of have something else to break it up. That heart just might very well do it, but we'll see. Anyways, guys, I'm going to keep on this and I'm going to come back. I'm going to show you and explain to you what I did, so hang tight. Alright, guys, and so I think we are done. Okay, this is what I came up with. And I went ahead and I put some yellow on those letters. I don't know, it kind of reminds me of, somehow it has some kind of a, it's like a sideshow feel to it to me, the lettering and the colors and stuff like that. So anyways, yeah, I put some yellow down there and then I outlined it in red. I painted the red heart on his chest. I painted the pin's heads black, and then the pin itself sterling silver. And so yeah, and then I just went ahead and put that twine on there. I thought it just kind of finished it off. And that's where we got, that's what we have. Yeah, and then of course we got a functional cork here. Goes back on there. Well, there you have it, guys. I hope you like him. He was super fun. I really enjoyed this one. I might do something different next time, but I like him. I think he's cool. I think he's gonna look good sitting on a shelf. But anyways, if you haven't done so, go check out my Brothers in Arms. Keith from Cobwebs and Candlesticks, and Vic Springston from Monster Misfits. Please remember to like and subscribe and hit the bell. It's going to inform you when I upload future videos, and there's so much more to come. I upload videos every single week, so to get notified, you need to click that bell and subscribe so that it lets you know when it's up. So anyways, guys, I appreciate you so much, and until next time, peace.